Hey guys, I figured it out. If you want to get away with murder, just vote Democrat. Be a big, screaming liberal, and you can literally shoot and kill somebody and totally get away with it. I was going to say I couldn't believe, but I can 1000% believe that Alec Baldwin and his fat little chubby friend also will not be charged in the shooting death of a Halyna Hutchins after all, right? The trial was about to heat up, but then all of a sudden, yeah, we're just going to drop these charges. Why? Why? I don't get it. Criminal charges against Alec Baldwin and Hannah Gutierrez-Reed dropped in fatal Rust shooting, according to sources. And yet, Deadline also has the skinny on this. Criminal charges against Alec Baldwin over the fatal shooting on the set of his movie Rust have been dropped, according to his lawyers. And it was also noted very, very recently, might have been earlier this week as well, that production on Rust was about to kick off, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, right, all of your charges have dropped, Mr. Baldwin, so please continue to film in our state because it would be really good, and we would definitely appreciate the economic boom off of that. So I guess we are going to get to see what Rust will ultimately look like as a film. That's going to be weird. Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter. It was earmarked and asterisked all the way to hell, and he would only end up getting a maximum of 5-year prison sentence. But guess what? Don't have to worry about that anymore. But yes, Halyna Hutchins on the New Mexico set of the Western movie after a real pistol. Okay, the 45 Magnum. He was using for a scene unexpectedly fired a real bullet. Well, I don't know how unexpected it is after you cock the hammer back and pull the trigger of a very loaded, very real firearm. I don't know how unexpected it is for that to produce a fired bullet. I'm not entirely sure. I ain't no gun expert, but I'm kind of thinking that that's the likely outcome. He pleaded not guilty to the charges that he didn't even have to show up to in person, unlike Trump, who ended up doing a soft perp walk and had to show up in court. Baldwin got to Skype in and, I don't know, maybe have a Q&A with everybody in the courtroom afterwards, and they were just starstruck by him. It's like, oh my god, you're a killer, but you also still have killer looks at 65, Mr. Baldwin. How do you do it? He pleaded not guilty to the charges brought by the Santa Fe District Attorney after a year of an investigation. Wow, he shot her, huh? Yeah, no, how long do you want to talk about these charges? Well, we better figure it out a year later. Yeah, we got him. A couple of months later, no, we don't. Oh, okay, cool. In a statement to the Post, Baldwin's lawyer, Luke Nikas, and Alex Spiro said, "We are pleased with the decision to dismiss the case against Alec Baldwin, and we encourage a proper investigation into the facts and circumstances of this tragic accident." No, that's what did happen. And then they brought charges against Alec Baldwin and Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, and then they were just like, yeah, no, it's probably fine. That's why I waited a day in order to record this. It's like, is there anything else that's going to be coming out? Because it's just pure speculation as to why these got dropped. I want to know. So less than 2 weeks before a mini trial was scheduled to begin in New Mexico over the October 2021 killing of Rust cinematographer Halyna Hutchins, all charges are going to be dropped against Alec Baldwin and the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed. Recently appointed special prosecutor Carrie Morrissey and Jason Lewis are expected to file paperwork soon, perhaps even today. It still hasn't happened yet. It could change by the time that this is released, but still haven't seen anything at this point. To dismiss involuntary manslaughter claims against Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed. So neither of them did anything wrong. She loaded an actual round into the gun that was not supposed to be functional, and Alec Baldwin, who lied multiple times about pulling the trigger, everything was fully investigated, including the nice little CGI video that he pulled the trigger that wasn't necessary for the scene, and nobody did anything wrong. What kind of clown world nonsense is this? Oh right, he votes Democrat and he's a mega donor, and he does a Trump impression for SNL. That designation means that the case could be resurrected at a later date, not likely, as the prosecutors are set to further investigate what actually went down that terrible day on the Bonanza Creek Ranch, set near Santa Fe, New Mexico. So they need more time to investigate it. They're never, ever, ever going to dig this back up. This shit is as dead as that cinematographer. Yo. We are pleased with the decision to dismiss the case. Yes, we already seen that. The new special prosecutor team has taken a very diligent and thorough approach to the entire investigation, which we welcome and have always welcomed, said Reed's lawyers Jason Bowles and Todd Bullion. They are seeking the truth, and we are also. The truth about what happened will come out, and the questions that we have long sought answers for will finally be answered. We fully expect at the end of this process that Hannah will be exonerated. Fantastic, and hopefully by exonerated you mean get a better dye job. Terrible. I've also seen some of her TikToks, and hopefully she's taken this time of inflection to figure out if she did anything wrong to hop on a treadmill with a pudgy little thing. Both Gutierrez-Reed and Baldwin had pleaded not guilty earlier this year to the charges. A virtual status conference had been scheduled for April 21st, so today, in the case before Judge Mary Marlowe Sommer. Okay. Since an interview on ABC just weeks after the death of Hutchins, Baldwin repeatedly insisted that he did not pull the trigger on the 1880s prop gun. It was a very real, very functional firearm that they were actually using to skeet shoot before the scene was set to be filmed. Unbelievable. Latest developments are occurring as production on the resurrected Rust was set to start in Montana. Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be on the set of Yellowstone or something I don't even remember. I've been, just paying attention to this entire case from afar because I always thought in the back of my head that, Baldwin's never, ever, ever going to be in an orange jumpsuit, even though he very much did kill that lady. I also didn't anticipate Gutierrez-Reed having her charges dropped either, but yeah, they were all under Baldwin's production banner anyway, so that totally makes sense. Why would you want to scuff up a very lucrative project? Like, come on, man. We got mouths to feed over here, and Baldwin already settled with the family of Hutchins. They got a Klondike bar and a signed copy of Glengarry Glen Ross. Like, I don't know. I own everything I have to this woman. Alec Baldwin credits his wife, Hilaria. Oh, good. He gets to go home to his wife. What about Mr. Hutchins? Anyways, after involuntary manslaughter charges dropped, his new evidence shows the gun could have fired without him pulling the trigger, directly contradicting the FBI. Who figured that out? What is this? Special investigator Baldwin. Interesting. Alec Baldwin paid tribute to his wife, Hilarious, as it emerged charges against him were, for accidentally shooting and killing, or very much killing and shooting her. A cinematographer on the set of his Western movie Rust, were being dropped. I owe everything to this woman, yes. Why would they charge me? I'm a new father. She just had a child. Imagine that, okay? His wife got pregnant, delivered a happy, healthy kid, which is, fantastic, and given the fact that she's 39 years old, a modern miracle. In the time that it took an investigation that Alec had killed the lady, so he took a life in order to just create another one for his family. How disgusting. Baldwin added, and to you, Luke, I referenced to his attorney, Luke Nikas. The charges were dropped after new evidence emerged suggesting that the gun could have fired without pulling the trigger. That's interesting. It also could have been a meteorite that fell from the atmosphere that crushed a set of the church that you guys were filming in, only to just pierce her in the exact same spot. But what seems more likely, he pulled the trigger of a gun that was loaded with a shell that was expelled from another idiot whose charges also got dropped? Or just this magical situation where Alec was just holding and shaking the gun? Like, let's just... Unbelievable. The NBA, I don't know where the hell that came from, but yes, the FBI rubbished Baldwin's claim that he did not pull the trigger, but what do they know? They're the FBI after all. Listen, if they can't even get a simple shooting like this correct, why would you trust them with anything else? So maybe I'm getting on Baldwin's side here for a second, because now the FBI is getting discredited? Okay, maybe that bitch deserved it after all. Charges against the armorer who provided the fatal weapon remain. No, they've actually been dismissed as well, which is just top tier Hollywood liberal privilege. Unfriggin' believable. Baldwin discovered on Thursday that the 2 involuntary manslaughter charges against him over the October 2021 killing of Halyna Hutchins have been dropped. Baldwin arrived in Montana last night to resume filming the movie, which was, yes, being shot in New Mexico, same place where Hutchins was. The Santa Fe District Attorney's Office didn't immediately return to a request for comment, and they were too busy counting their new gift that was provided by the Baldwin Foundation. Baldwin's co-defendant and Rust armorer Gutierrez-Reed is still facing the charges against her. No, we've already figured that out. That doesn't happen. This will keep the probe into the accident open and allow prosecutors to retain subpoena power going forward. I wouldn't hold my breath. I wouldn't wait for the resurrection of a cinematographer to happen, okay? It comes days after the filing of the witness list for the preliminary hearing on May 3rd became public. Oh, I didn't know about this. That included former Rust script supervisor Mammy, who is suing Baldwin and his fellow producers in one of the many suits against them. Yes, exactly. There was one that I've also touched on. What was it? The estranged sister and mother, I think, of Halyna, who are still over in Ukraine. And they're, oh yes, Halyna definitely would have allowed us and brought us over if they would have been alive in order for us to escape war-torn Ukraine, even though the war had been going on the entire time, and her widow in this situation didn't do anything about this. But no, it was all contingent on Halyna. It's like, yeah, no, that's just, you're just trying to run Alex pockets. But just because one lawsuit is a little bit frivolous doesn't mean the criminal charges should have been dropped. What are we doing here? It follows the Santa Fe District Attorney Mary Carmack Altruis stepping down from the case late last month. I'd imagine once all the dust settles, given that this is a Western, that seems apropos, in decades' time, after, everybody else is dead, maybe we'll eventually figure out what was honest and true about the situation, because as of right now, really doesn't seem like that. It just kind of seems like just famous person privilege, man. Feel bad for the Hutchins family because they were this close to justice. But it's funny, in some cases you find some exculpatory evidence and then all of a sudden charges in the investigation gets dropped. Interesting application when it comes to the law, but that's the way that it goes sometimes. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.